Oh, come. Oh, come. Let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord, our Maker. For He is our God, and we are the people of His Spacial, and the sheep of His hand. Amen. Let us invoke God's name by singing a Tamil song, Yahweh Nirvana. Let's close our eyes and look to Lord and pray. Almighty Savior, we come before you to worship and adore you and to praise your holy name. We thank you for this time that you have given to each one of us to gather in our holy sanctuary. And we also thank you for this beautiful morning that you have granted in our lives. As we come before you, our presence to praise and worship you through singing, praying and meditation. Send your Holy Spirit to fill our hearts and minds. Let this time of service be meaningful in our sight. We pray in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. For the glory of God shall we all rise and sing a Telugu song, Premkumar Adhikamuga Aradhinchadan Ashaktito. I request my friends to come forward. Let's sing joyfully and clap. to Lord, our Almighty faithful God, we come to you. We come to your throne of grace to submit our prayer concerns. God of source of all being, we pray for the world peace among our nations. Especially we pray for the conflict between India and Pakistan. Let there be peace between the nations so that people can live in peace and harmony. Help all the leaders to work faithful so that everyone would get peace in their respective nations. We also pray for the churches around the world. May you grant your help to follow your ways and to fulfill your will, and also help all the Christian leaders and pastors to do your ministry in a faithful manner. God, the Creator, you pray for the state and nations which is affected by natural calamities. May you help them from all the harms and dangers. We also remember the farmers who are expecting rain for their crop. Bless them with good rains. God the provider, we pray for Economist Ministries. We remember our dear director and his family as they are working for this institution. Bless them and strengthen them physically, spiritually, and financially so that they can work faithfully for the betterment of this institution. We also pray for entire faculty members and their family members. Grant them with good health and keep them safe. We also remember the office staff, kitchen staff, and security staff as they are working for this institution and for you. Bless them and provide their needs and requirements. At this time, we also pray for our students. God of wisdom and knowledge, grant us the wisdom and knowledge so that we can equip ourselves for your ministry and be a faithful servant in days to come. God the healer, we pray for the sick people in our community, touch them and heal them so that they can glorify your name. Especially we pray for Brother Silas' father as he met an accident and still recovering from the pain. Touch him and heal him. Let him experience your healing power. We continue to pray for Somi's mother who had go back to hospital again. We pray for your continuous healing touch upon her. We also pray for Ma'am Jackie as she has hurt her neck. Lord, we grant her healing. We remember our family members back at home. God of sustenance, grant them good health, bless them and guide them. We ask all this prayer concern in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. It's my privilege to stand before you all. I thank Almighty God for giving me this opportunity, and I also thank Reverend Pratap sir for this time. For this morning devotion, the scripture portion has been taken out from the wisdom book of Job, chapter 1, verse 21. Let me read for all of us. I'm reading from NRSV. Please follow your respective versions. He said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return there. The Lord came, the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Here ends the reading of the scripture. Before meditating the word of God, let's go to Lord and pray. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of all our hearts be acceptable unto you, our Lord and our Redeemer. Amen. The book of Job is categorized as the wisdom literature of the Bible. The book begins with the undeserved suffering of the patriarch Job and reflects on the meaning of suffering and God's relation to the one who suffers unjustly. Job suffers more because he refuses to deny his own integrity or the integrity of God. The name Job comes from the Hebrew Ahab, meaning object of enmity or utans. The book of Job derives its name from the central character Job, whose name appears 55 times in this book. The author of book of Job is anonymous. Scholars have different views regarding the authorship of the book. However, traditionally the authorship of the book is attributed to Job. The proper date is also unknown, but contemporary scholars fall into three periods. Henry says that it might be taking place in the time of early 7th century BC, during Ezekiel time. And Terrian proposed that mid 6th century BC after the fall of Jerusalem. And another scholar, Doran, proposed 4th and 3rd century BC. The book of Job is not a religious faction. Job was a real person, not an imaginary character. Both on Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 14 and 20, and James chapter 5, verse 11 attends to that. Because he was a real man who had real experience, he can tell us what we need to know about life and his problem in this real world. In prayer to God, Job submitted himself humbly and obediently to God's will, even though he could not understand it. Even in this emotional extremity, Job remembered that he and all of his loved ones and possessions really belonged to God, belonged to Lord who had given them to him. And so Job openly acknowledged the Almighty that God had perfect right to do with his own whatever God chose to do. Through his thoughts and experience, Job realized that when he came into the world as a newborn baby, he possessed absolutely nothing of worldly good. Similarly, at the time of death, he would pass into the next life without any of his earthly possessions to accompany him. He would stand completely naked, as it were, before the Lord as he entered into his presence. As Paul remarked in 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 7, he brought nothing into the world, so he can't take anything out of other. Job had not allowed himself to become and have more love of God gift than the God who had given them. Many have heard about Job and his trials, and at times find it difficult to understand and accept those trials. In Job's life, he accomplished the trials and accepted the situation of pain. He confessed that he emerged naked from mother's hair and will return to her in the same condition. Like the psalmist, he blessed the name of Yahweh, recognized his right to give or take blessing at his discretion. Job's faith remains unshaken and his integrity unsullied. God has won the first round, therefore Job stands firm in the faith midst of struggles, but still affirming faith towards God's sovereignty with a naked soul reflecting us to stand firm in our faith irrespective of fabricated soul. Consider all this. I would like to entitle my sermon as Faith Endures. Faith Endures. Most often, we appreciate and glorify God of His deeds in our life. Suddenly, if an unfavorable situation takes away our happiness, how do we react to that? Are we happy about the situation? Or do we realize ourselves? Or do we blame God? Apostle Paul says that we know that all things work together to him, to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. When we look at the life of Job, we will see the reality of life and temptation of worldly things. Many a times we identify Job's suffering as a part of counsel of human life. However, at the same, we find it difficult to accept any righteous man suffer. Therefore, Job's infirmity is sacred towards God's will in time of suffering and desolation through it, the naked soul unveils Job's conviction. In the Bible, Job's faith is uncompatible and determined as extreme faith. Job's faith is stubborn on the complexity of God's will, nevertheless in material discourses. Job says that the material discourses and the spiritual prosperity are divine gifts attributed by God, which are given and taken away. Job must have expressed the peace, prosperity, self-righteous, self-security, and happiness even in suffering, because it can become perilous that threaten to prohibit one from undertaking and continuing the difficult journey of faith. Job must have believed that suffering possesses the strong power of liberating one's soul from sedition of material discourses and temporal love. Therefore, Job expressed his faith upon God's sovereignty will by affirming with this statement: "Naked I came from my mother's womb, naked shall I return there." The word naked in this verse addresses two values of the blind. In this verse, there is a measure which emerged by the context word came and differ. It indicates a human conscience of coming of mother's womb and return towards mother's hair. It accomplishes the life period of human and therefore expressing the material things exists for the time period. Therefore, Job uses nakedness and entirety of one's own body and soul by expressing the physical concept towards nature. Hence, Job accomplished the highest standpoint of person concerning written towards their nature and recognize the manifold callings of human provocation, which a hidden splendor in create by God. Thus, Job seeks to worship and with a naked soul, even in the trials of his suffering. This verse speak about two sayings that Job expressed. One is Job's acknowledgement of God's sovereignty of his entire life through time of abuses, suffering. And the other saying is Job's conviction, a conviction towards God's will, a conviction concerning strong faith, and a conviction of righteousness. Job addressed God as a three times in this verse concerning his strong conviction towards God's about his sovereignty as his creator. Job reception towards God's will was exemplary, where Job clearly says that the health, family, pride, self-righteousness are attempted to for a time period. In a course of time, everything in this world is temporary, but the faith remains and still endures. Therefore, Martin Luther upon that one just shall live by faith and opens that faith, God's unseen work in human beings, which was clearly seen in life of Job. This verse speaks clearly that Job recalls his birth in terms of the state of having nothing, and emerges his death in the state of deprived of everything, which remembrance of meditation of God's grace in human life. Stand firmly upon that nothing is eternal except the grace which man meditates upon human life, and the grace is clearly manifested on the cross, where Christ suffered and brought grace and hope to the humanity manifestly expressed in the salvation history. In spite of this suffering, Christ has fulfilled the purpose of being incarnated to the world to redeem humanity by manifesting grace. And the grace still encompasses the world in the form of Holy Spirit. Friends, as a follower of Christ and minister of God, you may face various concerns, various types of problems, challenges, and unfavorable situations. Whatever may be the situation, we are called to have strong faith in God. Many times we fail to maintain our strong bond with God due to sufferings and pains. Sufferings and pains are unavoidable part of life, and it comes to test our faith. God is always faithful to do. God is always faithful to us. It is our responsibility to have firm faith in our Redeemer. The character of Job and his dynamic life calls us to have faith in God like him, whatever the situation may be. We struggle, sufferings, downward situations, and also life-threatening situations. Let us never lose faith in God, but be like Job. Job brings glory, honor, and majesty to God's holy name by being firm in his faith, even at the most crucial time of life, where Job, accused in life, cursed by his wife, claimed by his friends as unrighteousness. Yet Job excels in praising God, will by facing suffering indicates the strong conviction of God, conviction of Job, and it demands us to be firm in our faith, and also to recognize an insufficiency and nakedness of our existence and soul. Let us remember the one who calls us is faithful and shall bring into the past whatever we are bearing. Let our trials bring in and encourage our faith in the Almighty, all power, all knowing, ever loving God who died for us on the cross. Amen. Let's look to Lord and pray. Our eternal God, thank you for the promises and messages you have given to us for this morning. And I am blessed to fulfill your promises and your will. Thank you, Lord, once again for remembering us our duties and responsibilities in the midst of trials and temptations. Help us to bear and overcome like Job. Now, as we depart from your holy sanctuary, be with us and guide us forevermore. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. If there is any announcement, time is given.